It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umar Rusanda Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Eno Safo.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
They are going to also draw a red line in between the road, and so that when you cross the line, there's a fee that you have to pay. 1,005 maximum to 2,000 Ghana cedis. So next time you wouldn't cross the line.
Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu to impose a 2,000 cedi fine on hawkers selling on pavements in the Central Business District. Is that the final solution to the congestion in Accra? That's a question we have here on Eyewitness News. Also, coming up, the Citi depreciation debate continues. Former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia rejects President Mahama's claims that his management is the reason for the good performance of the Citi.
You cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy.
We'll be hearing from the former Vice President and President John Dramani Mahama. And later on Eyewitness News, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, the branch at the University of Ghana, is demanding the immediate resignation of the Auditor General Johnson Ekwama-Siedu. We'll tell you why. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
government reassures investors of robust regulatory reforms amid renewed economic stability.
That's from the Citi Business Desk in 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. In Western Region, we are on Premier 100.5 FM. We are on Beach 105.5 FM. And we are on Sky 93.5 FM in Takrady. We are also in Bono Region in Suryani on Greener 95.9 FM. We are in Kumasi on Orange 107.9. We are in Somanya on 90.1 FM, Right FM. We are in Aflau on Holy 98.5 FM. We are in Yendi on Dasuma 99.1 FM. We are in Zuarungu on 88.3 FM, that's Word FM. We are in Wa on Bugli Radio 88.6. We are live on citifmonline.com. We are live on citinewsroom.com. We are also on Facebook and we are on YouTube. If you want to join the conversation, the WhatsApp number is 0549 986 996, 0549 986 996. Alternatively, you can go on Twitter and mention me at Umar Rusanda or at Citi973, and the world will hear what you think. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We start off with the Central Business District and the plans to decongest the same.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu has announced a 2,000 Ghana cedis fine for traders operating on pavements and streets within the Central Business District. This comes after a decongestion exercise carried out today by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly in collaboration with the Kwale Klote Municipal Assembly to clear traders from the pavement. While touring the area, the minister cautioned against any actions that could derail and clean up efforts, stressing the government's commitment to restoring order in Accra.
We are going to reactivate our task force, and so that they'll be working 24 hours a day. They are going to also draw a red line in between the road, and so that when you cross the line, there's a fee that you have to pay. 1,005 maximum to 2,000 Ghana cedis. So next time you wouldn't cross the line. And we are going to make sure that we have leaders in between all the markets who will be responsible aside the task force. The leaders are going to be responsible to make sure that the right thing or they comply with the whatever directive.
What is the main motive for this exercise?
Oh my dear, initially when you come here, you can take more than 3 hours before you leave. Even if you have siren, you have this motor kit. I mean, it will take you 3 hours, 4 hours before you can even get to your destination. And so these are some of the things we intend. And His Excellency the President also spoke about it. Decongesting Greater Accra for free movement. And so that is basically the reason why we are doing so.
Whenever you have a discussion with these traders, the concern they raise is that and all that. How do you respond to such concerns?
Like I said earlier, they have spaces in between the markets. We've made the market leadership and we told the market centers there are a lot of space in between them. And so why can't they move? Those that, yes, we have few people who doesn't have, but coming close to the roadside wouldn't solve, selling by the roadside wouldn't solve the problem. There are other spaces they can, equally sell there. Not necessarily coming to the roadside. And so, I don't know, some of their concerns, like you said, some few challenges, but we'll see to that.
You heard the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu. The Metropolitan Chief Executive of the AMA, Michael Pakpo Alote, also added that the Assembly is exploring plans to block sections of the business district streets on designated days. This measure, he explained, is to provide regulated space for street trading in line with the government's 24-hour economy initiative.
Others started and handed over to us. We run a shift system here because our numbers are huge. We know our presence here is a nuisance, but where do they expect us to go?
However, for commuters who commended the AMA, the exercise will significantly improve the flow of vehicular and human traffic while enhancing the beauty of Accra's streets.
That's the voice of Fauzu Masawudu of the Citi Newsroom. Earlier you heard a trader speaking in reaction to the announcement by the Greater Accra Regional Minister and the Mayor. Fauzu Masawudu is actually in studio with me. Yesterday you were in Nanakrom, Adenta, following flooding. Today you are in the Central Business District. You have become a roving reporter in Accra. Who are you following today?
Yes, so I followed the regional, I beg your pardon, the mayor for Accra, that's Alote Pakpo. And then later we were joined by the municipal chief executive for Korle Klotty, Alote Kezi. So this is a joint a collaboration between both assemblies.
And what was the focus?
So the focus is essentially to decongest the Central Business District and other key areas within SIM. Day one of the exercise targeted areas including Tudu, where we started, Rollins Park, Makola, and then Kantamanto.
What they were doing decongestion, or they were sensitizing people that they are about to come and decongest?
So for the business district, they had sensitized them earlier. So they went ahead with the decongestion.
So today was decongestion?
Today was decongesting.
What was the nature that it took? They brought a bulldozer to...
No.
Or they were destroying things? What did they do?
No, I think it was largely a peaceful exercise, except that some traders earlier, opposed, but others, indeed really also supported the move.
No, what I mean is that what was, when you said decongestion, what did the city authorities do? Did they try to remove what did they do?
So
what did they decongest and how?
So for persons, for traders occupying the shoulders of the streets and the pavements and pedestrian walkways, they cleared them off that place. There was like a task force. They had some had sacks on them and everything, so they would just speak to you to move, and some also did it voluntarily. The traders themselves did it willingly because they were indeed aware, except that they said they didn't have anywhere to go.
So they carried their wares.
So they carried their wares elsewhere.
What about kiosks and umbrellas and all those makeshift things that have been put on? How was there any? So when you hear demolition, you are thinking of...
So this is not necessarily a demolition.
So the decongestion was to remove things.
To remove, and most of these people and persons occupying those places had items that were quite mobile. So items that they could just carry them.
So it was like an abaye kind of thing.
It was absolutely.
So when they are coming, they remove. But what I know with abaye is as soon as they go past, they'll come and set up. It's like the real line.
Yes.
When the train is coming, they remove the things. When the train passes, they put it back.
Yes. So that's why they said tomorrow. It's a 3-day exercise. And tomorrow we understand they are visiting the same places to find out whether the traders have returned.
Of course they will be back.
Because we spoke to some of the traders in an interview, and they actually said they will be back tomorrow.
Not even tomorrow.
They said well, today I can tell you for a fact that security is quite visible.
So what, when they remove the people, do they
places.
leave security people standing there?
Not necessarily, but they leave. Well, before we left the place, they had stationed some security personnel at some of these places.
But we've always had city guards holding canes and walking around the place. Or?
Well, Sandra, I don't speak for the AMA.
I know. I'm just asking
but
what
yes,
you saw.
what I said. So the thing is that the AMA, and these are questions that we actually asked the mayor during his engagement with journalists, and he mentioned that this is not going to be a 9-day wonder. Okay. Yeah, hopefully it's worth something to go by. He says they are going to continue, even though they have just set aside 3 days for this exercise. They mentioned that they would continue till the objective of the exercise is entirely achieved. So hopefully we do not see a return of these traders. But mind you though, the MCE for Korle Klotty, that's Alfred Gezi. He's mentioned that plans are underway to, for instance, put aside 2 days in every week for traders. Particularly, he mentioned emphatically that those in Kantamanto and other, parts of the Central Business District to operate 2 days in every week.
Okay, so
yes, on the streets.
So wait, so the regional minister, where did she speak? She was there, or
yeah? So the regional minister also visited some of these places that the exercise.
But she wasn't there with you today.
No, she was there. She came after the.
But she spoke to journalists.
Yeah, she spoke to journalists. And that's when she
said that
she's going to.
They'll find them.
Yes,
for being on the pavement.
For being on the pavement.
And yet the mayor is also saying that they'll give them 2 days to be on the streets.
Yeah, so that's the MCE for Koli Klote. He actually mentioned that they said there's a plan by authorities to ensure that they give 2 days to traders, particularly in Kantamanto, to operate 2 days in a week.
Did they say why they were doing the decongestion? Is it to ease movement in the city, or it is to prevent flooding?
So I think that's.
Did they connect it to the flooding, or they connected it to ease of movement?
Right, I think both actually. I think so we know that, for instance, the driver unions, the GPRTU, they had earlier given an ultimatum for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and other authorities to decongest these roads, and they cite the inconvenience it poses to road users and drivers and all of that, the vehicular and human traffic and what have you. So just a few days after that intended strike by GPRTU, the AME came out to say they were going to undertake this exercise. So we want to believe that the exercise was a response to some of these concerns raised by drivers and largely road users, and it's to improve the flow of traffic.
The devastation you saw yesterday when you went to Adenta following the flooding, did you see a similar thing in Accra today when you went around, or the impact was not as huge as you saw in Adenta yesterday?
Yes, it was not as huge as I saw in Adenta yesterday, but people are still calling for the demolition exercise that government had planned to.
So the officials will be back there tomorrow
and
the day after
tomorrow, absolutely,
to continue the decongestion.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Fauzu Masawudu with the Citi Newsroom went around Accra today. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can. Rambo and get super and the polish every day.
Always the best.
Sawudru krum now yes charcoal toothpaste aya no ya hwe yie na obi afa so ho anan wa chenchena esane say charcoal toothpaste bebre ane wodwa so nanso nya ni nyina na yema wo se titru mpo ni se wo nyini no bon ho modin se wo beto charcoal toothpaste a ye di bidi ankasa ye na enya dai keke na edi agumu na wodi yin keka wa firu simu na wo se nya hoden na se efita to charcoal toothpaste fluoride ewo mu na bo se ho ban na mana ye din da ekosi se obaba akokora na sa abrewa Pepsodent charcoal toothpaste dear what dibidie lemon mint ana zinc ana akabomu aye enti ma wose din na wonum so ahwam de mu ni nyina Pepsodent dear yenim no dada o enti wasan de bidie lemon ene mint akabomu aye dear ene na kire se yesen adamfo no ebem wonum ahwam na abo wose ho ban afiri kikawa bia mu to Pepsodent charcoal toothpaste fetwi wose na ma wose ho ban abrebia.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. And what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car. Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they boss my mindset be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, they make a finish my gobe fast then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. President John Dramani Mahama has attributed the recent rebound of the Ghana cedi to robust foreign exchange inflows and deliberate policy measures aimed at stabilizing the economy. He noted that the local currency's performance is underpinned by strong gross international reserves, which have climbed to $10.6 billion as of April 2025, up from $8.9 billion in December 2024, a signal of growing investor confidence and improved external buffers. Speaking at the opening of the Ghana-EU Business Forum in Accra, President Mahama reaffirms the government's commitment to meeting its economic growth targets for the year.
The Ghanaian cedi, which depreciated by 19.2% in 2024, has shown signs of recovery, appreciating by 3.9% against the US dollar by the end of April 2025. This has been supported by stronger forex inflows, improved trade balances, and growing investor confidence. Our gross international reserves have improved further from $8.98 billion in December 2024 to $10.6 billion by April 2025. This is equivalent to almost 5 months of import cover. This reflects enhanced export earnings, particularly from gold and non-traditional exports, as well as timely disbursements from our multilateral partners. Fiscal consolidation is underway. We reduced the fiscal deficits on commitment basis from 7.5% of GDP in 2024 to 6.4%.
President John Dramani Mahama there. Meanwhile, the NPP presidential candidate in the 2024 elections, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says the appreciation of the city is due to policies implemented by the erstwhile NPP administration and not any intervention by the current administration. According to him, the Gold Reserves Initiative introduced under the Akufo-Addo government is driving the stability of the local currency. Speaking at an interaction with some students in London, Dr. Bawumia claimed the NDC government has introduced no policy to fix the economy.
One of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the city, they cannot tell you one. They only passed their budget in March. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact yet. For me, we had anticipated the impact of gold in this economy. I talked about it when we got into dire straits in 2022. And so that is a big backing for the currency. I mean, they have been in office so far. They've not even increased it by 1 ton. 1 ton, one. Not a single 1 ton. They haven't increased it by. But people, after all the noise of the election, people are paying attention to our reserves. That is one thing, which we have built to 30 tons. Secondly, you've mentioned that the US dollar itself is on the decline globally. And that has also strengthened. If you go to Zambia, for example, the kwacha has gained a lot of ground also because you have the US dollar declining in value because of what is happening in the US with all of that. So I think those are critical. And then there's the third element is that they are not spending. I mean, if you are managing an economy, you have to pay your bills. They are not paying IPPs, for example. This is why the doomsday is so acute, and they are not paying contractors. So when you are not spending, there's less pressure on your currency. Yeah, so those are some of the reasons why you are seeing an appreciation of the currency. But if you look at it, if we had not instituted the gold purchase program as well as the gold for oil program, our economy would have collapsed.
You heard MPP presidential candidate in the 2024 elections, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
He is former Vice President, former Chair of the Economic Management Committee under President Akufo-Addo. Professor Sharif Mahmood Khalid is Economic Advisor to the Office of the Vice President currently. Prof, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, thank you, Maru, and thank you to your cherished listeners.
How is your boss doing before we talk about other matters?
She's doing fantastically well.
When is she coming back?
Pretty much soon.
Pretty much soon. Because the president said she was going to be back this week, so I'm just asking maybe if there's a plan. Anyway.
Yeah, the president has given an indication. Why do you ask me again?
I know. I mean, but the week is 2 days in, so I was checking maybe if there's an official date out.
So let's listen to the president.
Oh, no. I thought maybe there's an official date that has been announced yet. Because
the president gave an indication, so we all listen to the president. So we await the president's indication of when she is to come.
So we'll carry mini flags and go and stand and welcome her.
Sorry?
So we'll carry mini flags, then we'll go and welcome her. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
Let's talk about the man who used to occupy the office that your boss occupies now. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he's in London.
Yeah.
And he says that you have not done anything and that all the credit should go to them. If they had not instituted all the policies involving gold and oil, the economy would have crashed now. So the President, John Mahama, says is an injection of $10 billion into the economy that's resulting in what we are seeing with the Citi. Dr. Bawumia says that cannot be true.
Yeah, but this is quite interesting coming from Dr. Bawumia. I mean, when I hear the Gold for Oil program, among other initiatives, done to have currency stability, among other issues, as though it was only unique to Ghana, it makes interesting judgment. Because this was a program post-COVID that most central banks within emerging markets were beginning to do as a way of currency stability and shoring up central bank reserves. So it's not very unique to Ghana. It's not a novelty, as they claim it is. But to start with, you would see that even in the wake of the Gold for Oil program, the currency was still malfunctioning. It wasn't doing or performing as it should. Right. You had inflation still being affected, among other issues. So where is this claim coming from? To say that the NDC or the current administration did nothing is a bit disingenuous, because I heard him talk about paying contractors or spending. If you commit to an IMF loan facility that you have to service, is that not commitment? Is that not big ticket spending? If you commit to a domestic debt exchange program which was inherited, is that not big ticket spending? If you activate a sinking fund to consolidate and insulate against all of this, is that not big ticket spending? So I don't know where this is actually coming from. But you would realize that, as you see within currency functionality, the prudence of the market is very important. And there's something fundamental that the financial market in Ghana ought to note, that it's very difficult to see a president, that's the executive, the central bank or the independent central bank, and the government treasury, which is the finance ministry, sing from the same hymn book. And that's exactly what we are seeing in the Mahama Atuforsen economy, right? Because prudent spending is important. So we gauge the market to say, okay, we are doing X, Y, Z. The budget that was presented, which is a blueprint to the financial discipline that would aid us cool off the overheated economy within which we are, is one for internal controls. So if you say nothing has been done, I don't really get where
he's actually asking you.
He
says you list the things you have done.
And that's what I've listed.
But
right, we are servicing a domestic debt exchange program. We're committing to it. Right, we are servicing an IMF program. We're putting up financial discipline. These are not things to be done to hold an economy down.
Okay, would you rule out the effects of the interventions that they left behind, the gold for oil that he talks about? No,
that's what I'm saying. What interventions when a central bank they led was posting losses? Where was the intervention? Were we not in this country when the central bank posted losses?
So
if you say intervention, what intervention are we referring to? And I still indicate that the Gold for Oil program was not unique to Ghana, right? It was an initiative
but at least it
by
was
most
something
central banks in developing economies. They had no choice than to fall back to it.
But it was at least something that they introduced, and he says is a bench is a foundational policy. It's a foundational policy that he takes credit for.
What was the performance of the cedi against the dollar? In the wake of it, what was inflation? So these are the fundamental questions to ask.
Yes, but I see, because governance is a continuum, and a lot of the time we say that you should give credit where credit is due. You are suggesting, based on what he has said, that they take no credit and they should not take any credit whatsoever.
No one is saying no. We are not even, as I keep indicating, we're not saying no one should take credit whatsoever. If we're talking about government being a continuum, why is he saying or stating that we've done nothing?
Perhaps because you are very...
And I did ask a question, right? If the gold-backed reserve was not a prudent measure in getting in, we have rather even come to structure it, right? Because under it still had problems of transparency. It has problems of dysfunctionality, among other issues. What we bear the gold board. And the gold board in and of itself gives confidence to the market, an indication that there's going to be a stability in a gold program in currency reserves. And that in and of itself gives an indication to stabilizing currency.
The issue of Doomsor, for instance, the defense for your government is that you're just 4 or 5 months into government, so you can definitely not be blamed for the problems. Can the same not be said of the successes, that you are just 4 or 5 months into government and you cannot take credit for the...
We're talking energy and we're talking currency.
It's finance. It's finance.
Is that not an Apple? No, it's not an Apple orange company.
No, energy is a finance matter, pretty much, as what we are discussing in the city.
Being a finance matter does not mean it functions as the same. Currency is different to energy. I don't see where we are making that comparison. It's not a like for like. I'm happy to have a like for like conversation as far as this comparison is concerned. But in this light, you're talking energy here, which is highly technical, right, within a certain set field that you compare to currency issues. I don't think the two can be comparable for the education of our general public in this light.
Very well, appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Right, thank you.
That's Professor Sharif Mahmoud Khalid. He is economic advisor to the office of the Vice President, Professor Nana Jino-Pokwajiman. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Accra. I'm Umaru Sandamad here with Eno Safo, who brings us our next story.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Dr. Frederick Kapoor, has assured of completion of the Tema-Mpakadan Railway project in 13 months. The construction of the 97.6-kilometer rail line has, since construction began, witnessed several setbacks, including the emergence of COVID-19 in 2020, which pushed back its earlier completion date in 2022. Speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Dr. Frederick Kapoor assured that the Transport Ministry is actively involved to ensure the timely completion of the project.
We are also in the process of resuming work on the Western Railway line, and it's part of the development initiative of this very government. The sector minister is keen on that. I am in touch with Honorable Nipe, and it's one of the key sectors or agencies under him where I see him almost every week, and we are talking about initiatives as well as what we call the proposals that we have received both at the transport level and at the railway sector level to ensure that we can get the best right.
So you've given me two big promises. Tema-Mpakadan operational, Western line will be commenced. It's 20th May 2025.
I will promise you one thing. Tema-Mpakadan operation, Western Railway line development ongoing, and at least we are ongoing or resumed.
He also noted the urgent need for private sector involvement in the operationalization of the country's railway system, stressing that the government alone cannot shoulder the financial burden.
We are also proposing a market-sounding approach to allow private sector participation in the industry in terms of rail operation, to allow what we call it development as well as innovation and competition on the line. I'm not saying the state will not have a role to play. The state will have a role to play. But railway industry or the railway sector primarily depends on the small to medium scale business, the SMEs, the blue collar jobs, you see, and we need to build that sector in Ghana.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Dr. Frederick Apo, Vice Chairman of the Railway Workers Union, Michael Clements, is calling on government to invest in Ghana's railway infrastructure, particularly the Accra-Tema line, which has remained out of service since 2017. Speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Michael Clements highlighted the importance of reviving the line and stressed the need for strategic partnerships. He noted that mining firm Mining East has shown interest in supporting the rail sector and called for collaboration with the railway company to help advance the industry.
The government should invest in it. And since I came to the work, only the Western Line has been giving us a lot of money. Our chunk of income comes from the Western Line. And if government turns its eyes on that place, I think it will come back.
So how do the mining companies their products to the port?
We have at the moment. They use a car.
Is it more economical if they use rail?
More than the car.
Would an arrangement where the mining company pays some of the money to repair the rail, would that arrangement make sense to you?
Yes. Later part of last year, we heard that there was going to be a partnership between us, that is railway, and manganese. But somewhere along the line, we have not heard from that partnership again.
That was the Vice Chairman of the Railway Workers Union, Michael Clements.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Charlie, where are you?
Bossman, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Walwale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, of course. You know we have been friends since childhood, and we always tell each other everything.
Oh, Cynthia, I know that, and that is why you are my best friend.
We even eat together, and I have spare keys to your room. I also know your phone password.
Cynthia, don't I also know your phone password?
Yes, so. But what about your Momo PIN?
Hey! No way.
Indeed, Akos. Your Momo PIN is your secret. Do not share your PIN for any reason or give your PIN to someone to send cash on your behalf. Debida, never give out your PIN or OTP as a means of claiming a so-called promotional prize won. Your PIN is like your toothbrush. It only belongs to you. Stay alert.
MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. The University Teachers Association of Ghana branch at the University of Ghana is demanding the immediate resignation of the Auditor General Johnson Ekwama Esiedu. Why? Dr. Jerry Joe Harrison is General Secretary of UTAG UG. He's joining us on our Doc. You're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Umaru.
Now, teachers, teachers, waiting concern you with Auditor General. What has he done?
Thank you very much. I think that there is a broader discussion on falling standards in this country that we as teachers have to be part of, and we believe that our voices have to be heard when it comes to promoting higher standards across the country. And the audit service remains one of those institutions that we believe has had its standards fallen far below the expectation, and for which measures should be taken immediately to restore the image of auditing. Now, what has necessitated all this is that the audit service is being carrying out special audits of the University of Ghana account. Now, before we know Jack, there was a report in the media that the university management overestimated its staff capacity in terms of renovation by almost 60 million Ghana cedis. And this represents the due diligence that the audit service supposedly did, for which they have recovered all these monies to the state. This cannot be farther from the truth. And the basic principle is even that if you audit somebody's work and there are discrepancies or irregularities, the basic principle of natural justice says give the person the chance to explain these irregularities before crucifying the person. But nothing of this sort was done. When the report came into the media, university management put out a statement explaining what the whole report means and whatever. The audit service, as we speak, has not issued a statement debunking the claims of the media house, nor trying to explain whether management is right or wrong. But to the extent that this basic principle of natural justice was not followed, we think that the continuous presence of the Auditor General has become untenable, because these are serious breaches of the ethical codes that govern auditing. And we also believe that there are many other instances where these standards have not been followed, and so we think that it is time for the Auditor General to go.
But this is an issue against the University of Ghana. Why not letting the University of Ghana handle it? Why UTAG?
UTAG is an integral component of the university. If you think about it, universities all across the country receive monies in the form of research grants and other things to do research and everything. Now, there is a certain standard of reporting for universities, and just imagine if a whole management can bloat payroll by such an amount, what else can they not do? And so we feel scandalized by the report. Our reputation as a university has been completely destroyed, and we believe that as stakeholders we cannot keep quiet, because the image of the university also reflects us, the individuals who make up the university. And that is why we are taking this matter up as a matter of urgency on behalf of our university. Management can do whatever they want to do with the audit service, but we think that as a union whose membership is a key stakeholder of University of Ghana, we do not think that his continuous existence means well for the organization. We think that his supervisory role has not been played. I mean, any serious jurisdiction, he would have been gone long before we even called for his resignation.
Now, the audit process, we do know what happens. A lot of the times, or actually often, the person being audited is asked for their comment. If your estimation, the Auditor General did not ask the school for a comment, the university for a comment, at this time, should we not rather be asking the university to give an official comment to the audit service that would be incorporated in the report? Would that not be a better route, which is what typically happens in auditing?
Well, not when you have already released the report to somebody who has made his conclusions and has already tarnished the image of the university. Even if you provide a rebuttal, how is the traction of that rebuttal going to be compared to the sensationalism that was portrayed? So, you see, you have already done the damage. And when we begin to think of damage control, it doesn't all go well. So, yes, they may eventually, as management continues to engage the audit service, they may eventually come to an amicable conclusion, and provide those clarifications. But that doesn't mean the Auditor General continue to be in the office. These are so basic that we think that in this country, our major problem has been holding ourselves to high standards. Ethics have to be an integral part of our lives. We must begin to enforce higher ethical standards. It is not about morality, it's not about laws, but if the ethics are just not there, then we continue to do these things. And we cannot always leave things to God, right? We can't always leave things to God. And so we think that it's about time we begin to hold ourselves to higher standards, because Ghana was once known to be a country that has very high standards of everything. So we cannot let this slide, unfortunately.
Now, Is it a moral issue or a legal issue? If it is a legal issue, would you go to court? If it's a moral issue, then really you can only, ask him to resign. And if he, in his view, does not think he has done anything wrong, then he stays put.
Umar, we think that this is an ethical issue, and whilst it may not be legal, we think that, look, as a country, we must begin to take ethics very seriously. People do all sorts of things in their offices in complete disregard for the ethics that govern their profession. Again, the question that I keep asking, if the audit service really means well and wanted to do a clean job, not appearing to be doing or to be working, why did they not rebut the report that was put out by multimedia?
The question would be, what is the motive? Is there any rift between University of Ghana and the audit service? Why do you think the audit service would deliberately malign the university if that is actually what happened?
Well, we wouldn't know. We don't think there's any sort of rift between them. But the point is that ignoring basic standards is something that we should. And it's the same thing with journalism. The journalists that broke the story could have simply called the management of the University of Ghana and asked their views on the matter. To be fair, the journalist can report what the audit service reports. That's the journalist is also enjoined by the ethics of the profession to seek the input of the other person so that you have a balanced reportage. Yeah, but also we can quote from official records in journalism. You can't quote from official records, I agree. But the thing is that, you see, if you as a journalist, you are supposed to even ask more questions. Why is the university's response not accompanying this document? Right? For which reason you should be asking the audit service, why isn't the university's response attached to this document? So clearly, we are all throwing ethics to the dogs, excuse my language, and that is why we must begin to think about ethics and holding ourselves to higher standards of ethics. It is not about morality. All advanced countries that have not developed based on moral upbringing, but based on higher ethical standards, so that people know what they can do and what they cannot do, irrespective of what the law says. How long are you going to continue this, your campaign for his resignation, and how far are you taking the campaign? Well, we have our own plan. At the end of the day, we are giving him enough time to reflect and know that his position has become untenable because of what is happening in the service. I am not even sure Auditor General saw the report before it was made public. I could be wrong, but what I'm saying is that he should reflect and know that his position has become untenable. If he continues to stay in the office, as we promised, we will take the next steps by pursuing the presidency for his removal. Thank you so much for speaking to us. My pleasure. Thank you. That's General Secretary of the University of Ghana chapter of UTAG, that's the University Teachers Association of Ghana, Dr. Jerry Joe Harrison. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Eno.
Let's do some more stories. The former CEO of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Solomon Asamoah, remains in custody after failing to meet bail conditions set a week ago in the ongoing SkyTrain case. Mr. Asamoah, who is the first accused, is on trial with former GIIF board chairman, Professor Christopher Meawe-Kumfi. The two are charged with causing financial loss to the state by authorizing a $2 million transfer from GIF accounts to Africa Investor Holdings, the company contracted to develop the SkyTrain project. Prosecutors say the payment was made without proper authorization and that no work was done to justify it. At the first court hearing last Tuesday, Solomon Asamoah pleaded not guilty and was granted bail of 15 million Ghana cedis with two sureties, both required to justify the bail with landed property in Accra. However, he has yet to meet the conditions and remains in custody. The Bono Regional Directorate of the National Disaster Management Organization says it has identified 78 flood-prone areas and is taking steps to mitigate risks as rains intensify across the region. This follows the death of a 3-year-old boy who fell into an open drain during a downpour in the Abetifi electoral area of the Sunyani East municipality. Bono Regional NADMO Director Fatih Kenny underscored the need for public education to prevent disasters during the rainy season.
When we go to Banda, we also have Banda Hinkro to be one of the areas. Bawo, Bongasi, and others. When you go to German North and South, we have challenges over there. In fact, communication is a key during this season. We are going out, NADMO Bono Region Director and the team, we are going out to communicate with the local communities. We will make sure we talk to them when about this season, because we all know when it is raining season, it's a crucial time that, and we will make sure we also go to the radio station to educate the public.
We apologize for the bad quality of sound. Let's do some other stories. 8 students of the Winneba Technical Institute are under investigation for appearing in a viral video that shows them brandishing weapons. In the video, which is believed to have been recorded on campus, the students, along with other yet to be identified individuals, are seen displaying knives, scissors, and other offensive items. The footage has drawn public criticism, prompting school authorities to act. Speaking to Citi News, the school's assistant administrator, Stephen Yao Asari, said investigations are ongoing to identify all students involved.
But looking at the video, I'm sure there are more than that number, so we'll still have to prove further to get the rest. Currently, we have 8 of them. You know, the students, when they are coming to school, of course, nobody will tell any student to come along with certain things. And then if I want to, even I have some of those things in mind, sometimes we go around, because there was an incident where we suspected some of the students paid their own evidence. So it's something that once a while you see some of the students having this type of weapons and stuff like that. We can't actually tell, and nobody has ever told them to bring certain, because it's something we don't allow. Even mobile phone, we don't even allow our students to use. So having even the phone for this type of thing is another issue altogether, which we are going to deal with it. We assembled the whole students to find out. Fortunately, we were able to unravel some of the students who were involved in the acts. And thereafter, we invited the students to the principal's office to interrogate them further. And then after the interrogation, we realized that they were doing something unknowingly, just for fun. It's not like anything they really mean to do something. Unfortunately, looking at the nature of the video, we need to take action. So having spoken to them at the principal's office, we finally concluded that we have to invite the parents of the children. We have concluded that come Thursday, we will meet the parents of the students and then also tell them, whichever way it is, they are students. And regardless of whatever circumstances, since our name is almost going viral in line with negativity, we'll still have to apply our rules by trying to met out whatever punishment they deserve, so as to serve as deterrent to others.
You heard the Assistant Administrator of the Winneba Technical Institute, Stephen Yao Asari. Arocha Ghana is calling on the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission to immediately seize what it describes as the indiscriminate felling of trees along the Atomic Kwabenya Highway. This follows a notice by the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission that it had received approval to cut down 8 mahogany trees and 6 lucina trees along both sides of the Atomic Kwabenya stretch. Speaking to Citi News, the Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana, Daryl Bosu, stressed the need for broader consultation before such actions are taken, adding that the trees should be preserved rather than cut down.
The ongoing tree felling exercise at the Atomic Kwabenya Highway is very unfortunate. I think very irresponsible. And there's no need for us to fell those trees. I mean, we did some assessments over those trees some years back, and the problem is not with the trees, but with our own poor culture of maintenance and management. I mean, I recall that 2 years ago, we engaged with urban roads when we got wind of the information that they wanted to actually start pulling down those trees. We went into discussion with them, and they decided to go and redesign the road that is going to pass through that area to ensure that they secure the trees. And it's very sad that as they have now taken steps to make sure they are going to protect the trees and put in a maintenance regime in the long term, the Atomic Energy Commission, who has nothing to do with the road, is right now undertaking an exercise to destroy the trees.
You heard Deputy National Director for Arocha Ghana, Daryl Bosu. Away from that, President John Dramani Mahama has directed the newly inaugurated National Development Planning Commission, along with Parliament, to combine all development plans into one clear and inclusive national plan. Speaking at the inauguration of the 43-member commission chaired by Nimoy Thompson, the president says a majority of Ghanaians desire a long-term development agenda that will impact their lives and future generations.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Pepper powder, pepper jawo, sankofa pepper powder, sankofa, pepper powder, sankofa pepper powder. Abuna abonje krakra, sankofa pepper powder, sankofa pepper powder. Jawo.
Are you ready to lead like never before?
Ready to master the art of strategy and inspire teams that thrive?
It's the Management Bootcamp 2025.
An exclusive high-impact training for mid to senior pros.
Learn from Ghana's finest industry minds, brought to you by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM.
From the trusted voices of excellence, Citi FM and Channel 1 TV, comes an elite training experience designed to sharpen your strategy, leadership, and communication.
Make a date for the Management Bootcamp 2025 from Sunday the 22nd of June to Saturday the 28th of June 2025. The venue is the Platinum Bay and Passion Base Hotels.
Call 0242-011-424 to register now.
The Management Bootcamp 2025. Lead forward. The Management Bootcamp 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mindset be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, they make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Inu Safo. Let's settle for the details. Government is reassuring both local and international investors of its commitment to protecting investments through stronger regulatory enforcement and respect for contract sanctity. President John Mahama gave the assurance at the opening of the Ghana EU Business Forum in Accra, where he urged investors to deepen their engagement with Ghana's economy. The forum was on deepening Ghana-EU cooperation on trade and investment in non-traditional value chains under the EU Global Gateway Strategy.
I assure all potential partners that under this administration, Ghana is committed to transparent governance, policy predictability, and a reformed business environment. We're restoring confidence in our public procurement systems, enforcing contract sanctity, and protecting investor rights under both domestic and international legal regimes. Let this forum serve as a platform to launch new partnerships, create decent jobs, and to transform industry. This government stands ready to work with the EU Commission and its member states to harmonize standards, resolve trade bottlenecks, and foster innovation-led growth. We also wish to encourage institutional linkages between our academic institutions, innovation hubs, and business accelerators. The future belongs to those who innovate, collaborate, and invest in shared prosperity. As we open this forum today, let us reaffirm our shared value of partnership, innovation, and inclusive growth.
President John Dramani Mahama. The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry also urged businesses to rethink their partnership models and strengthen collaboration frameworks in response to shifting global supply chains. Sector Minister Elizabeth Ufusuajari says this will help industries navigate evolving market dynamics and build resilience against external shocks.
As countries are establishing new alliances and adapting to supply chain shifts, this moment calls on us, not just as partners, but as pioneers to rewrite the rules of collaboration and ensuring they reflect our shared vision. As Ghana's Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, I am convinced that few partnerships have the historic depth, economic substance, and future promise as that between Ghana and the European Union. It is for this reason that I see the theme for this year's Business Forum, Deepening Ghana-EU Cooperation on Trade and Investment in non-traditional value chains under the EU Global Gateway Strategy, so critical in my ministry's role in the government vision of building the Ghana we all want. In the same vein, the theme also fits into the EU's Global Gateway Strategy with this ambitious 300 billion euro investment framework, aligns closely with Ghana's priorities to industrialize, modernize agriculture, accelerate agribusiness and export development.
That was the Trade, Agribusiness and Industry Minister, Elizabeth Ufusuajari. The Third World Network Africa is renewing calls for the continent to deepen its pursuit of economic self-reliance amid concerns over Africa's continued vulnerability within the global economic system. The call comes as the Africa Trade Network opens its cadre school on trade and development advocacy in Accra, bringing together participants from across the continent to discuss economic justice and regional integration. Addressing the opening session, coordinator of Third World Network Africa, Dr. Yao Graham, underscored the urgency for Africa to strengthen its institutions to challenge global imbalances and assert economic sovereignty.
We can begin to generate pressures which begin to force leaders of the continent to begin to see the urgent needs of the continent so that Africa positions itself in the contestation about the restructuring of global power, the contestation about the restructuring of the global economy, so that our long-standing and suffering position as a site where others contest for dominance, a site where others assume they can continue to extract resources, that the work that all of us have done in different ways to challenge that, we are able to canalize it in a way so that we can have a more effective strategic focus.
The coordinator of Third World Network Africa, Dr. Yao Graham. Tullow Ghana has resumed drilling operations in the Jubilee field, a move signaling strong investment in Ghana's oil and gas sector. The 2-year program, which begins this May, is expected to enhance production and boost operational efficiency at one of Ghana's key oil assets. This follows the successful completion of a 4-year drilling campaign in December 2024, which delivered 18 wells, 6 months ahead of schedule and under budget. Managing Director of Tullow Ghana says the restart unlocks further value from the mature Jubilee field, which remains a critical revenue source for the country.
Checks conducted by Citi Business News at several outlets of leading oil marketing companies in Accra show that diesel is available and being dispensed with no interruption. Traffic at these stations remains steady, with both private and commercial vehicles foiling up without incident. Sources within the National Petroleum Authority have dismissed claims of a nationwide shortage, assuring the public and industry stakeholders that there are sufficient diesel reserves in the country. The authority maintains that supply chains remain intact and ongoing monitoring is in place to avert disruptions. Meanwhile, oil marketing companies who have been speaking with Citi Business News on condition of anonymity have reiterated their commitment to ensuring a stable supply of petroleum products across the country. They have also called on consumers to avoid spreading misinformation that could trigger unnecessary panic or market volatility.
That was a report by my colleague Daniel Sakite on the availability of petroleum products, particularly diesel, at retail outlets of major oil marketing companies across the capital. Stakeholders in Ghana's agricultural sector have backed government plans to secure 200,000 hectares of land for cocoa cultivation, but are urging targeted strategies to ensure long-term sustainability. The move is to reverse the sharp decline in cocoa production. Speaking to Citi Business News, former General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, Edward Karawe, described the move as promising, but emphasized the need for a clearly defined long-term development framework.
It is not out of place that government is picking up this venture, which is unusual beyond what we know about government interventions in the cocoa industry. We want to acquire these 200,000 hectares of land for cocoa production. Primarily, cocoa production has been done by smallholder farmers and individuals without direct or significant support from government in terms of acquiring the land. So the government's position is good. So any measure today must be looked at in long term. And I think that we need to be realistic that it will have to take a number of years to revive the cocoa industry.
Is it? That was Edward Karawe, former General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union. That's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Inusafo. Up next is that game between Manchester and Tottenham Hotspurs.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.
Citi 97.3 Accra.